Today is a day that we judge people online for free. Okay, we're looking at people going through precarious situations. We are going to determine whether or not their reactions to these things were a-hole-ish or nigh, which let's pretend means not in this instance. AITA for not claiming my friend's mistake on my insurance. Hi, I and my friend from college both moved into the same apartment building. She lives on the floor above mine. One weekend, she put me along with a bunch of our mutual friends in a group chat because she wanted to have a barbecue on our roof. She has hosted many before, but this would be the first one I ever attended. Because I don't eat red meat, I did not eat anything that was cooked on the grill and only brought chips, a bottle, and paper plates. When the day was over, the group of us went downstairs to watch a reality show. My friend who lives in my building and the girl who owned the grill discussed that they would leave the grill to cool off. Once the reality show was over, I went back to my apartment and I went to sleep. Okay, cool. So pretty keen, pretty good here. The next day, everyone in my building receives an email saying that there was a fire on the roof last night because someone dumped coals in the trash can on the roof and they relit due to the wind. I took a screenshot of the email and sent it to my friend, who then put it in the group chat of everyone. Her and our other friend who owned the grill told us that they decided to take the grill home the same day because they didn't want to have to come back and get it the next day. Oh, so you were irresponsible. You were irresponsible. You're telling me the plan has changed from you letting the grill cool off to you having to take it back the same day, and so what you did was you messily dumped hot coals into a trash can? So the girl in my building gave the grill owner her keys to go get the grill on the roof, and the grill owner decided that it would be the best thing to just toss the coals into the trash can on the roof. Our building requires multiple key taps to get on and off the roof, and they also have cameras, so they immediately told my friend in my building she was responsible since it was her guest using her keys. I mean, yeah. That's it. That's what that is, isn't it? A week later, my friend came to me and asked me to put it on my insurance since she nor the grill owner had renter's insurance. Isn't renter's insurance like $5-6 a month? What does that mean, though? If it's on your insurance, what happens then? Do you get dinged or something? How does that work? I actually have never filed a claim on renter's insurance before, so I have no clue what that does. I spoke with a few lawyers and my old insurance agent, and they all said that this would be fraud, which is very illegal. So I told my friend I did not feel comfortable doing so. Another week goes by and she asked me again because she believed that she would have to go bankrupt over the situation. She did not. I again said no because I did not feel comfortable and reiterated that I was told this would be fraud. What's the penalty? Be responsible for what? For fire on to replace a trash can? To re-roof a section or something? I don't know. What is the money replacing? How much damage went down? From then, she started to run a smear campaign saying that I was the bad friend, and all of our friend group stopped talking to me because they said that I should have at least tried to put it on my insurance. They now all want me to apologize to all of them and work for their friendship again since they believe that I was in the wrong, but I feel like I didn't do anything wrong. So, who is the a-hole? First of all, how much money was spent? You weren't the a-hole. This wasn't your fault. You didn't know this was going on. This is your first time doing it, and they are being extremely irresponsible, and they're trying to take advantage of you. That's my opinion. What a silly friend group to be surrounded by. People get so weird about money stuff. This is one of those money situations where if they had a oodles and doodles of money and they wanted to just, yeah, whatever, I'll pay for the repairs in cash, this would not be a problem. But this ain't that situation, okay? This is where they don't have renter's insurance, which, by the way, whenever you sign a lease, at least in California, you have to have renter's insurance or you won't be able to sign a lease. And it's cheap. It's like $6 a month, $7 a month through Lemonade or whatever service, cheapo service. This is so weird. And yeah, also, if it's fraud, dude, if you're committing insurance fraud, that is a huge problemo. Big old problemo. Oh God, surprise sponsor! Summer is here. And when Papa Sunshine calls you outside, you should be able to answer. What you shouldn't spend time doing is worrying about that mystery rash you got last week, or that twinge in your neck, or that weird thing that your shoulder does. You should be bouncing on a trampoline. Or, for my friends in wheelchairs, you should be bouncing on a trampoline in your wheelchair. Enter today's sponsor, ZocDoc. ZocDoc is this amazing free app and website where you can easily search and compare high-quality in-network doctors. We're talking dentists, eye doctors, skincare doctors, and providers for pretty much every specialty you can think of. You can filter for doctors who take your insurance, who are located nearby, and who are highly rated by verified patients. I'm talking real people, real reviews. And then you see their actual real-time appointment openings. You pick a time that works for your schedule and just click to instantly book it. Done. And these appointments happen fast, usually within 24 to 72 hours of booking. You might even score a same-day appointment. I have used ZocDoc a few times, by the way. It's so easy, it is insane. So stop trying to tough out that mystery pain you got going on. Head on over to ZocDoc.com/Daniel Thrasher Plus, or just click the link in the video description and instantly book a top-rated doctor right now for free. Whew, that was a close one. You ever think about surprise microphone as well? Throw a little explosion there. Thank you. Just a little one, a baby one. Let's see what the comments say. Top comment says, wow, sounds like you just cut a bunch of cancer out of your life. Congratulations. Your lawyers told you it is fraud. Why haven't you said those words to these people? If they still want you to commit fraud, explain to them that you are not a stupid criminal and it's not your fault someone couldn't use common sense handling a grill and hot coals. I think if they determine that you're being a little weak with this, and what I mean by weak is like you're acquiescing a little bit. You're like, oh, I know, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I can't do that. Then they're gonna like find that weakness. Some people are like this. They'll find that weakness, they're a shark in the water, they'll smell that blood, and they will attack. You gotta be firm with this. Hell no, I'm not putting that on my insurance. My lawyer told me it's fraud. You want me to go to prison over this? No, stop. I'm not listening to you. No, I'm not an option. Think about something else. That's it. You got to do it, and you got to do it quick. You know, some people smell weakness, and they clench onto it. They hold on to that, and they try to take advantage of a person. And they do it when they feel that you're weak. But if you respond bombastically and like just like that, you're like, you know, one time I was at a car dealership. This is really funny. One time I was at a car dealership, I asked the guy, I was like, you think we could get the payments down by, you know, another $100 a month? I swear to God. He looked at me and he went, hell no. Like that. And I thought, okay, I tried, you know. But the truth is, if this guy went, I really don't know. I don't know. If he did anything like that, I would have locked onto that for the next 45 minutes. I would have. It's just psychology. Because he looked at me and went, hell no. I was like, all right, that is a definitive no. There's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can say to anybody to convince this guy to take my car payments down another $100 a month. And I'm sure that's not good negotiating on my part, but it's excellent on his part because he was able to read me and he was able to see that I was looking for an in, and he just boom, I was out of there. I was knocked out of the equation.
Complete sentence, but hell no is even better. No is a complete sentence, but hell no is a letter delivered to your mail. Yeah.
AITA for posting screenshots of my sister-in-law's texts online and making her look bad. I, 29 female, and my wife, 28 female, had our sons 6 days ago. The pregnancy was complicated and they had TTTS, which is twin-to-twin transfusion syndrome, which resulted in them coming early. They are currently in neonatal unit and my wife and I practically live there so we can spend time with our boys. Twin-to-twin transfusion syndrome? I see. Sometimes the vessel connections within the placenta are not evenly dispensed and there is an imbalance in the blood exchange between the twins. So they share one area, and one of them's hungrier than the other. My brother and his wife got married 2 days ago. I didn't want to leave my sons or my wife, so I missed the wedding, though I sent them their gift from us and a text wishing them a fantastic day, and I thought nothing more of it. Yesterday, I got a text from my new sister-in-law explaining that because my wife and I missed the wedding, she'd need us to send her 140 pounds for our plates of food. Okay, interesting. No, I think you got to take that as a loss. I don't know, man. I think a husband and wife take that as a loss. There was an emergency. I asked her if she was joking, and she told me that she got my wife couldn't go as she had to stay in the hospital, but that I wasn't the one who gave birth, so I could have went and saved 2 plates of food from going to waste. Give them to somebody else. Surely somebody wants seconds in that place. What? Just sit somebody else. What? Who says it's going to waste? Pack it up. Eat it later. Think ahead. Because, like, they had their kids 6 days ago. If you were told in advance, then pack an extra plate or something. You have 6 days notice that they're not going to that wedding. It wasn't like a last minute dropout. And even if it was, surely the caterers of a wedding have any type of like to-go bag, like a doggy bag. Hello? I told her she was being ridiculous. Again, this is the sister-in-law. This isn't the brother. This is the new wife in this situation. I told her she was being ridiculous and asked if my brother was aware she was asking his sister for money for food. She brushed that off and said weddings were expensive and she had to try to recoup her losses, and this should be between us, woman to woman. That is so weird. What do you need that money for? Get out of these people's business. They're having a medical emergency. Why would you do that? You as a brand new wife, you are doggedly coming after your husband's sister while they're in hospital taking care of their kids for $140? Goofy behavior. I must say no. I must say no. Between this and her thinking I should have gone anyway, I admit I lost my temper. Was this over the phone? This was a text, right? I would have just called her. I would have called her up. Hey, hell no. Fuck you. Fuck you. No. Stupid. I ended up taking screenshots of the conversation and posting it to Facebook. Okay, that's the nuclear option. I think what you could do is you could have like threatened her privately about it. Hey, you want to see how stupid you look? I could just take screenshots of this conversation and see what the public thinks. How about that? Then get off my back. Shut up. That's so dumb. Oh my God. This shocked several people in the family, and she must have gotten bombarded with messages as she told me to take it down as I was making her look bad, and people were taking it out of context and thinking she was some kind of villain. What's out of context here? Anything out of context? I don't know. Given the context I'm given, it seems pretty straightforward, doesn't it? My brother called me and told me not to worry about the money and that it was stupid to expect us to pay for the plates, though asked me to take the post down and he'd handle it. He seemed kind of shocked by her even asking this. Okay, so he did ask you to take the post down. Dumb. If your partner is unaware of what you are negotiating for on behalf of the couplehood situation going on, loop the partner in. Because a lot of times, man, your partner's got the better nut en la cabeza, you know? ¿Entiendes que hablo ahora mismo? Did I go too far? My wife is mostly upset by our sister-in-law's comment and how I wasn't the one to give birth, as if it makes me feel less of their mother. Oh, that's really sweet of your wife. She's worried that you're feeling alienated by not having, these kids, by not birthing these kids yourself. Maybe I should have handled it better, but I admit at the time I wasn't thinking very clearly. Edit, I thought I said in the post, but I didn't. Sorry, running on very little sleep. Of course, because you have sick kids. I took down the post when my brother asked me to do so. Okay, so you did the thing. Your brother asked you to take down the post because it's, driving a little wedge in his new little marriage because his wife is a little dumb. Yeah, that's Jesus, dude. What a stupid person. That is awful. NTA, I'd take down the post as requested, though. It has served its purpose. Oh, God. Edited post here, thanks. Your post made me double check. I took it down when my brother asked me to. I seriously thought I added that. I'm running on no sleep. NTA, it would be tacky to ask in normal circumstances, but asking the parent of preemie twins in the NICU is unhinged. Yes. Oh, my God. If I had just had a couple of babies, dude, if I had twins, if my twins were done born, I would be with my partner in the hospital. I would not leave to go to a wedding. Leaving my partner in a hospital taking care of two kids in an NICU? Sorry, I'm missing the wedding. I'm sorry. We will get grandma to hold up the phone and we will FaceTime in from the comfort of a hospital bed. Comfort. I don't know about all that. Hey! Ho! AITA for walking out of my parents' anniversary party when my brother announced his engagement to my ex. Your brother's engaged to your ex? Oh, God. Does your town have 5 people in it? If your town has 5 people in it and 3 of them are related to you, sure, this is okay. But if that is not the case... I just discovered my brother has secretly been seeing my college ex-girlfriend over the past year. We broke up 8 years ago, and we'd been going out 4 years prior to the split, but we actually knew each other very seriously when we'd been together. So wait, so you were together for 4 years? I challenged him when I discovered this, and he said he didn't say anything to me because he didn't want me to get angry with him. Last weekend, we celebrated my parents' 40th anniversary celebration. That's a long time, long marriage. My brother brought her to the party as his guest without letting me know beforehand. Her arrival with my brother left me shocked since we broke up, and I hadn't laid eyes on her since then. I'm thinking about this right now. I was with a girl for 4.5 years. If my brother pulled up to a party with her holding hands with her, I would be like, hello? That is a decision. You are making a decision to show up with somebody and you got common sense. All common sense points to, yeah, that's not a brother I want to hang out with anymore. Sorry. And what demented fantasy and what world did you see that and you thought that was a good idea? What? I must calm myself. During the meal, they declared their engagement and my mom began crying tears of joy. So did your parents know about this? I couldn't take it and I left. My brother trailed behind me and we got into a big fight. Hope it was with fists. Hopefully it was with fists. I told him he should have warned me at the very least. He said I was being self-centered and spoiling our parents' party. That evening, my dad phoned me telling me I humiliated the family by leaving. No, they deserve to be humiliated. They deserve to be humiliated. That's insane. You're gonna pretend like somebody can't react to earth-shattering brand new information and take it on the chin, dude. I don't care if it's 8 years ago. I don't care if it's 20 years ago. That is strange. He hasn't seen her. They were together for 4 years. That would be so strange. And coupled with it be the new partner, the new wife, potentially somebody who you forever have to be around, who's forever going to be comparing you to your brother. Is it something that you could eventually like get used to and calloused over and be like, yeah, y'all are weird as hell for doing that? Maybe. I don't know. I don't have romantic feelings towards my ex anymore, but the surprise reveal and secrecy at my parents' celebration felt thoughtless. AITA. No, you're not. You reacted how you should. You reacted correctly. That is how you're I gotta go. This is insane. Of course you gotta go, dude. Of course you gotta get out of there. What? And shame on them, too, for doing... God, what a stupid thing. Maybe it was the parents' dumb idea to be like, he can't get mad at you. It's our anniversary. Shut up. Stop. You can never sprinkle enough sugar on a turd and make someone want to eat it. You can't. You just gotta know when to deliver the turd, and most of the time, it should be in the bathroom. What I mean to say by that very strange analogy is that if you know you have something bad on your hands, people will be more insulted when you pour a bunch of BS on there. They will just be more insulted. Now, granted, there is something to be said about tact. There's something to be said about, understanding human psychology and all that stuff. Sure. But time and place, homie. A little warm up to the idea. Hey, I just need to let you know I'm kind of talking to your do you still have feelings for her? No. They thought that they'd be able to sprinkle enough sugar on that turd for you to eat it, but no, dude, you don't want that sandwich. No. NTA, reverse ferning one of them, they would feel the same way. It's weird enough that your brother pursued your ex. Even worse, he'd keep the relationship a secret and then drop a huge bomb in front of a lot of people like that. If I had a friend date an ex of mine, I'd expect it to be made known and treated with the nuance the situation deserves. It does deserve nuance. So obviously for a sibling, that is the literal least he could have done. I'm also guessing that in this situation, your parents must have known about the relationship exactly and hid it from you as well. Exactly. That is so weird. Why does everybody know about this but me? Why? Because it's bad. Because everybody knows it's bad. If it wasn't that bad, somebody would have told me by now. And so the first time you're telling me that my brother is in a relationship with my ex is when he is proposing in front of my whole family and friends and me learning about this information for the first time? No! NTA, he said I was being self-centered and spoiling our parents' party. He was the one that made it about you. He wanted to see your reaction and he wanted you cornered and in public just in case the reaction was bad. Punch him in the mouth. I'm just saying, punch him in the mouth one time. Just a little 1-2. I'm not an advocate for violence at all, but in this situation, you're gonna flick him on the nose. Just on the right nostril, make it spin. You know what I'm saying? Did your family all know and they'd been seeing each other for the last year and kept it from you? I understand that finding out a year-long deception, topped with the surprise attendance and announcement, was a shock, more compounded if you're the only one in the dark. And your family were all delighted, MTA. I don't even want to look at that story anymore. It just hurts my feel. That is such a clear violation of so many boundaries and like ethical codes, bro code, relative code, brother code, like, dude. AITA for expecting tequila in the margaritas. My wife got invited to a party at her coworker's house. I reluctantly went because the only person I would know was my wife. Hello? It's okay. Go to a thing with your wife. This is how you meet people. This is your wife. You go places with your wife. You go places. Don't reluctantly stop that. This is a relatively new job for her and wanted to be able to meet and mingle with her coworkers outside of work. Her understanding of it all was we didn't need to bring anything but ourselves. So this guy just showed up for the drink. We show up and seems like a lively party, pool with a bar area, music playing. They had a margarita machine and a ton of food. My wife got to talking, so I excused myself to grab a drink. The margarita machine was calling my name, so I filled my cup and grabbed my wife a margarita. I went back to my wife. I started drinking and realized that there wasn't any tequila in it. That's when I noticed no alcohol being around. Let me say this before I continue. Me, no drinking much. Why? Cause me on SSRIs. It makes me sleepy, all right? But when I do drink, my drink of choice is a margarita. I love me a margarita. Mango margarita. Pineapple margarita. Margarita with a little tamarind in it. I love me a little margarita. Frozen margarita? Yeah! Oh, I'm just thinking about a little frozen margarita with a little sugar rim or a salt rim with tahini on it, a little lime on the side. Nigga gotta go. The thing about this, though, is if you don't have the alcohol, if you don't have the tequila within the frozen drink, then you are simply sipping on a slushy. Do I understand this man's disappointment? Yes, I understand his disappointment. But what does he do about it next? That's my question. What is the next thing he does? Let's find out. I'm sure it will be just and kind. The host was tending to the machine and I asked if there was any tequila. She looks at me confused and then says there is no tequila. I said, oh, I thought this was a party. She takes offense at that and says it is just a dry one. Okay, all right, see, husband, you went a little wrong when you said, oh, I thought this was a party. Don't do that. It is a party. There's people around. And it's a work thing. And also, you can drink with your work buddies and stuff in a way that's, you know, you're at the coworker's house. You know, I'm assuming it's you know, in the PM. And a lot of people are sober now, more than ever before. A lot of people are realizing that, you know, alcohol can, first of all, a bunch of empty calories, and second of all, it messes you up in a lot of ways that people are learning about, and that's okay. A lot of people are sober nowadays. I, for the most part, am. I understand it. I understand it being a dry party, but I could also see the sadness of a gentleman going to a party. He sees a margarita machine doing a little spinny spin, takes a cup full of that, like that green or yellow orange mixture, dude, with the you know, you're gonna sip on that thing. It's pineapple-y, it's limey. It's gonna be so tasty. You're gonna have I almost died just now. Everybody saw me. I almost died. Oh God, I did it again. She takes offense at that and says it is just a dry one. I awkwardly left it at that. I poured out my drink and grabbed some water. Host asks if there was something wrong with it. I said I wasn't interested in drinking straight sugar. You just told a host who was sober for some reason that this happy medium they have, this margarita machine, which might just be a slushy machine. You might have just completely mistaken a slushy machine for a margarita. Hilarious. Because now you look like an absolute alcoholic. It's just like a regular, like she got like, it's Slurpee branded on there, and you're like, where's the tequila? It's like, will you relax? This is actually a snow cone maker, you jerk. Like now you just look really bad. And the fact that you said you weren't interested in drinking straight sugar, you're being mad at the lack of alcohol there says a lot about you, dude. You need to evaluate that, because that's no bueno. That's not a good look, my friend. I understand. Maybe you're anxious to go to a party, a new place. I get it. I get feelings of anxiety, feelings of, you know, God, now I gotta, whatever. Inside thoughts. Watch your inside thoughts. Keep them inside, behind a cage, because if you say them outside, people are gonna think you're a dick. You must understand this, and I've said this before on this channel. If something is clearly important to somebody else, read the host of this event, you have to accept that and respect that for them. You're in their house, you playing by their rules, the end. Nobody else seemingly has a problem with it because they have more context than you do. Maybe they know that she's sober for a reason. Maybe they know that, you know, it's a work event. We had something crazy happen last year when somebody drank too much. We're not going to do that anymore. These people have context that you don't have. A lot of people need to learn how to roll with it. If you learn how to roll with it in life, you're going to be so much further ahead than so many. I walked back to my wife, kept to myself, and ate some food for the few hours we were there. It made it back to my wife that I was an asshole to the host. Caused a minor argument between us. Was I, though? Yeah, and you emptied out the drink. She spent money on those ingredients, you know? Maybe it wasn't a lot. I'm sure it was like ice or whatever, but that doesn't matter. You were like a toddler throwing a tantrum. And sure, a margarita mix, you know, in a frozen drink, yes, that is definitely kind of straight sugar, and truly, I would think the same thing, because I wouldn't want to drink a bunch of sugar, but in this situation, hold on to that drink. If you catch yourself going, oh, I thought this was a party, and then she takes offense, you see this woman being mad about this, the host of the event, that your wife is new at this job and she needs to get along with these people, and you, as her husband, champion her. You want to make everybody look good. You be the champion that you need to be for this relationship, for this dynamic. If you have a partner that you trust, and if you have a partner that presents themselves well, a power couple is certainly greater than the one. It adds the gestalt of it all. If you arrive someplace and you are truly a power couple, people think differently about both of you because they're like, not only is that person great, but their partner is great. That's amazing. I'm so jealous of them, you know? Like, it's a different feeling. You show up in a power couple dynamic, you feel great. But if you got a bozo in there insulting the host, running around be like, where's the tequila? Get the F out. Get out. Get out. Get out of my life. You're the asshole. Would you not have been drinking straight sugar if there was tequila in it? You insulted the host twice in a very brief interaction because you couldn't drink alcohol. You just embarrassed the shit out of your wife. 40,000 upvotes on that. 40,000, I believe, is actually the size of Madison Square Garden. Can you imagine doing something where you're standing on stage, Madison Square Garden, and all 40,000 people are pointing at you and going, boo, you're the asshole! You're an asshole! He couldn't even pretend to be tactful. His poor wife, damn. This threw me off. Like, was the tequila supposed to cancel out the sugar? Look, as a guy who has the same thought, you've heard girl math before. Tequila math is the same. If no tequila in drink, then just sugar. But if tequila in drink, then it complete margarita. That's my brain. And you sip on it slowly over time. You know, I get where he's coming from. I completely disagree with everything that he did. I do not side with this guy at all, but I do understand being like, I don't want to drink straight sugar. It's because he said it as an insult to the host. That's obviously the problem, right? But again, inside thought. Keep it in a cage. Lock and key. He was just being rude because he's visibly one of these people who thinks you can't have fun at a social gathering without getting faced. You're the asshole doubly so because these people were your wife's new coworkers and your rudeness and poor attitude is likely to reflect poorly on her. Yes. Oh, I thought this was a party. Implies you can only have a good time if you can get drunk, which is pretty insulting to those whose company you're apparently incapable of enjoying, as well as implying she's a bad host. Oh, I thought this was a party is such a... Dude, what freaking alpha, beta, gamma, theta, pi, zeta, Aretha Franklin are you on, dude? What frat did you come from? You puffing your chest out, beating your chest in front of these new coworkers of your wife? Do you know where you are? Do you have any idea? Were you blindfolded while you drove to this event? Did you have headphones on? Were you drugged? Were you awakened with a pistol whip to the face? Do you think what is wrong with you? Do you think the world is designed to serve your needs at every single stage of your life? No, you must understand that when you go somewhere, there is a new context and a new environment, and your wife needs you to be there for her. Not everything is about you. And what I mean by that is you don't have the right to react how instinctively you may feel. You do not have the right to react like that. You don't have the right to unlock that cage and let your stupid little monkey ideas come outside and talk to the group. You don't have that right. Learn how to live with a little bit of discomfort and you will then grow up. Because you haven't grown up yet, dog. No. AITA for exposing my sister's fake cancer to our parents after she refused to come clean herself. I just found out that my sister, who has been telling my whole family she has cancer for the last 8 months, has been lying. What? That's so bad. If you've ever met people with actual cancer, this is so bad for so many reasons. The big thing is not the garnering sympathy for me. The big thing is it's a huge slap in the face to people who experience cancer or living with somebody who has cancer. Also, there is not a disease. There's a disorder where you fake an illness for attention. What's that called? Oh, Munchausen syndrome is a serious mental health condition in which people deceive others by pretending to be sick. It's now called factitious disorder. Oh, they changed the name of it. Why? Factitious disorder symptoms involve people trying to look ill, making themselves ill, or hurting themselves. They may also fake symptoms, make symptoms seem worse than they are, or pretend they can't do certain things because of their symptoms so they can deceive others. So it is a serious mental health condition. They make up histories. They may give loved ones, healthcare professionals, and support groups false medical histories, such as claiming to have had cancer or AIDS. All right. I just found out that my sister, who has been telling my whole family she had cancer for the last 8 months, has been lying. She shaved her head. She said she was doing chemo and had our parents move in to help her through treatment. I started to have doubt when, besides also staying out late relatively frequently, she would never let anyone attend appointments with her, and she clearly had way too much energy for someone going through aggressive chemotherapy. Last week, I ran into a manager of my sister's oncologist at a coffee shop. It's a small town. You trying to do this in a small town? I casually mentioned my sister, and the office manager was confused. She had no idea who I was talking about. I did some digging through doctors and spoke to my sister about what I learned, and she broke down and spilled her guts. It turns out she fabricated the whole story because she was in over her head with debt and wasn't able to afford her apartment anymore. The cancer story got our parents to move in and she could then stop paying her bills. Instead of just straight up asking for help, just being like, hey, I don't have the money for this. I'm crazy in debt. You think the less embarrassing thing would be for you to fake cancer? For you to fake the big C and make your parents believe that you have this horrible disease that is a very famously horrible disease that everybody knows about? You think that's the less embarrassing route and that you're not going to get caught in a small town? You may not have the big C, but you got the big D, and that D stands for dumbass. Baby. I was furious and told her that she had 24 hours to tell our parents the truth or I would. That's fair. That's a fair reaction. Given the circumstances, yeah, your parents deserve to know. And also, they might, as crazy as it is, they might see it as somewhat of a relief that their kid doesn't have cancer, right? She asked me not to tell them because it would ruin her relationship with them. You think? She did not tell them, so yesterday I took everything to our parents. Our parents are heartbroken. My sister is acting like I had no right to out her, and she didn't even say this to our parents. She was going to stage a miraculous recovery next month. She said I ruined her life and that families should be trying to defend each other rather than expose each other. You don't get the, dude, hey, you don't get the right to say that about your parents. You know, siblings hide the fact that your sister snuck out at night to go be with her boyfriend. You don't tell your parents that, or you do, or whatever. You know, that's something that I could see sisters looking out for each other and being like, yeah, I'm not gonna tell them that, but you know, be careful, that kind of a thing. I understand that. Sure, have your siblings back for that. Sure. Anything else though? Dude, faking an illness like that, this is so sad. I think this person is clearly not the a-hole. I think their sibling is out of their goddamn mind. NTA for telling them, but you were a tiny bit of an a-hole for not demanding that she tell your parents immediately, like within 15 minutes of finding out. 24 hours is too long to be deceived into thinking your child is dying. I agree to some extent, but I do think that 24 hours was a pretty good, reasonable amount of time to at least let the sister get her story straight in some capacity. Info. What do you mean you did some digging through doctors? Also, per HIPAA, the office manager shouldn't be confirming nor denying whether someone is a patient when they're at work. I'm not buying it. All right, maybe this whole story is made up. But what I will say is it's a good story. So let's keep going. I currently work in a large doctor's office. If someone is not listed on the patient's HIPAA, or if we do not have them as a patient, it is, I can neither confirm nor deny that person is a patient here. Okay, so it looks like all of the comments of people who work in doctor's offices are saying that this is BS. So there's really not a lot of comments I can bring into the fold here. But what I will say, generally speaking, you know, whether this story is true or not, I will say lying bad. Lying to parents bad. Lying about having illness, pretty bad. Pretty bad also. What's the worst thing you've ever lied about? Let me know in the comments below. Go into excruciating detail about what you are currently lying about, so that way anybody else reading can blackmail you. And this was fun though, wasn't it? Folks, be good out there. Thanks for hanging out with me. I didn't have chat this time because I get really distracted by it, but I will be streaming more. Check that out, twitch.tv/ThrasherPlus. Outro! Whoa, 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 yeah, 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 yeah. Check out this stuff, baby. Oh.